Hey guys, welcome back to Fantasy Tip. Julian here for another waiver wire episode. This is the episode where I let you know which players to add to your teams to potentially improve your teams or to stream for the week so that you can win week 2 of the fantasy hockey season. Before we jump into it, guys, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And if you do want to take your support to the next level, the link to my Patreon is in the description below, or you can join on YouTube. You get perks either way, like being able to access early access videos and other perks like being able to DM with me one-on-one if you join my Patreon. Ask me any fantasy hockey questions you have, and I'll be happy to answer you. Let's jump into the content now, guys, and let's take a look at the schedule for week 2. And on Monday, October 13th, there is 10 games. Tuesday, there are 8. Wednesday, there are 4. Thursday, there are 11. Friday, there are 4. Saturday, there are 13. And Sunday, there are 4. What does that mean? Well, it means that the off days this week are Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. Although Tuesday, you might have room for players in your lineup as well, because only half the teams in the NHL are playing. But by definition, an off day is a day where less than half the teams are playing. Either way, none of the days this week are that busy except for Saturday, so there's a good chance you can maybe fit players in your lineup all week anyway, but definitely check your lineup and see what days you have room for players. So what teams have a good schedule this week? Well, teams with 4 games are Boston, Edmonton, Florida, Minnesota, Nashville, Ottawa, Tampa, Toronto, Vancouver, and the next 3 teams, Chicago, Detroit, and Utah. Those 3 teams, Chicago, Detroit, and Utah, also play on 3 off days, which is all 3 off days. And they all play Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, which is an awesome schedule. So they're great teams to be streaming from this week. And then there are 2 other teams that do play 2 off days, and those off days are Friday and Sunday. And those teams are Vancouver and Washington. Now, Washington is the only team you see on this screen that only plays 3 games. Every other team plays 4 games on this screen, but they do have those off nights, which is nice. Once again, for the second consecutive week, there's no team that really has a bad schedule this week, as no team plays less than 3 games. You'll love to see it. Now let's take a look at some forwards that you should consider adding. And first on the list, if you're in a shallow league, Artturi Lehkonen might still be floating out there on the waiver wire. He's still available in 37% of leagues, and with this deployment, he's pretty hard to ignore top line and top power play with Nathan MacKinnon, and he's doing pretty well to start the year. Brock Nelson, someone that I like as well, top power play with Nathan MacKinnon, and second line center. I don't mind that as well. Then Patrick Kane is a great streamer for the week. He's playing second line with DeBrincat and Casper, as well as power play 1. And Detroit, like I showed you, has an amazing schedule this week. So even if he's just a streamer for you in a very shallow league, that's an option. Or if you're not in such a shallow league, but somehow he's floating out there on the waiver wire, could be a great add. Then Brock Besser and Evander Kane are 2 Vancouver Canucks you can add for those Friday and Sunday off nights. Besser actually plays on the top line with Pettersson and DeBrusk, as well as power play 1. So he's someone who could definitely be held all year. And he did score an even strength goal in his season debut. And Evander Kane got an assist in his season debut. And he's playing on the third line, so the even strength play isn't that valuable, although he did get an even strength assist, but he is also on that top power play with Besser, Pettersson, DeBrusk, and Quinn Hughes. So that's a great place for him to be. Moving on, Elias Lindholm has started the season on absolute fire. He's looked really good to start the year, and he is playing on the top line with Pasternak and the top power play with Pasternak. So if he can get back to his old form, he could be a really big steal right here on the waiver wire. Worst case, he gets back to his crappy form like last year, and you can drop him. No big deal. Then Nick Schmaltz is someone who's a great stream from the Utah Mammoth. He's playing with Clayton Keller 5-on-5, and he's actually on the top power play right now over JJ Peterka. He's a sneaky stream this week for somebody that plays on the off nights. Now, Evgeny Malkin seems to be turning back the clock a little bit. Through 2 games, I believe he has 5 assists, which is absolutely insane. Now, I'm definitely not expecting this kind of elevated production the entire year, but it is a contract year for Malkin if he decides to keep playing in the NHL. So it does make sense that he'd want to elevate his game a little bit. And he does have that left wing eligibility, which makes him a little bit more value than if he was a natural center like he has been most of his career. Next is Jake DeBrusk of the Vancouver Canucks. Only 29% rostered, which was surprising to me because he is top line and top power play in Vancouver with Pettersson and Besser on both of those things. And yeah, he's not the most talented, amazing player in the world for fantasy, but with that kind of deployment, you'd think he'd be more than 29% owned. And also this week, he's got those off nights Friday and Sunday, so that's a pretty good ad. And then Marco Rossi is someone who I actually did have last week. I've been trying not to repeat players week to week, but Marco Rossi is playing well and is playing on the top line with Kaprizov. It's pretty hard to ignore. Then we have Marco Kasper of the Detroit Red Wings, and he was kind of horrible in his first game, was a -2 and didn't do a whole lot against Montreal, but the whole team didn't do so good, so it's hard to say he's going to be bad based on one game. The Detroit Red Wings do have an amazing off-night schedule this week, playing Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday, so he's definitely a solid streamer playing on a line with DeBrincat and Patrick Kane. Unfortunately, he's not PP1, but if there's a single injury, he probably will be. Then we have Frank Nazar of the Chicago Blackhawks, and in his opening game, he had a goal and an assist, and then he followed that up with an assist in his next game. He's looking really, really good. He looks electric on the ice. I can't believe how good this kid looks. So I know I included him on my list last week, but I had to include him again, especially since Chicago plays on those off days, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. If he's still floating on your waiver wire, you need to add him. And there's also a chance that he gains right wing eligibility sometime soon because, yes, he is playing down the middle, but he's also shifting to the wing. So there's a good chance that he could actually gain that eligibility. Then Teuvo Teravainen of the Chicago Blackhawks is playing on a line with Frank Nazar on that second line, and he's also playing on the top power play. And on a week where Chicago has those off nights, he's a decent streamer, and in his opening game, he did score a goal and an assist. He didn't do anything at all in the second game, but hey, if he's able to do even a little bit of that, he's going to be a valuable stream. I got like Tyler Bertuzzi is another guy who you can stream. He's also on their line and top power play. I don't have him listed here, but he's also somebody you can be streaming for those off nights. Zach Bolduc of the Montreal Canadiens is someone who's really impressing me right now. Now, a lot of the offseason, people were wondering, will it be Demidov? Will it be Laine on Montreal's top power play? Well, the answer was, it's going to be neither. Zach Bolduc has looked so good to start the year, has already scored 3 goals through 2 games, and is playing on a line with Kirby Dach and with Brendan Gallagher. Now, while that might not seem like the best even strength line, Bolduc has looked great, and he's playing that top power play unit. And he probably should be gaining a left wing eligibility soon because he is playing on the left wing. I just think Bolduc is somebody who's being severely underrated right now, and he's looking really, really good out there. Then Shane Pinto of the Ottawa Senators. Now, he got his regular season off to an electric start with 2 goals and an assist. Now, you might think he got a boost from Drake Batherson being out of the lineup. Therefore, he was on the top power play, which is true. But none of those 3 points came on the power play. Look for him to lose that power play 1 spot when Batherson comes back, which is might be today when you're watching this video. But if you're in a deep league and can fit a center, you might as well stream this guy while he's hot. He's definitely a talented kid. Then Jack McBain of the Utah Mammoth. And he's someone who's being seriously underrated right now. And I know that because in my 20-man league, my Fantasy Tip Members League, I know a lot of you guys are in that league, he wasn't even drafted, and he was a free agent until I scooped him up. Now, Jack McBain is a type of guy who puts up some great peripherals. And in just his first game, he put up 3 shots, 3 hits, and 2 blocks to give himself a really nice floor. Yeah, he didn't score a point, but that floor was very, very nice. And in a league that's that deep, I couldn't believe that he was available. Not only that, guys, but he's playing on a line with Clayton Keller and Nick Schmaltz. So the offensive opportunities are going to be there. It looks like he's beat out Barrett Hayton this year for that position, which is awesome. And if he continues to look good, continues to put up some shots on goal, and is able to keep pace with Keller and Schmaltz, I think McBain could have a sneaky good year. On top of that, Utah does have the off days this week, so he's a perfect streaming candidate. Next is Kyle Palmieri, and he's put up some filthy fantasy numbers in his first game. He put up 7 shots on goal while scoring a goal and also getting 20 minutes and 39 seconds of ice time. He's playing on what is arguably the top line with Barzal and Lee, as well as the top power play. He is a sneaky good ad right now if you are in a deep league. Then I have Philip Hedl, and he scored 2 goals in his season debut, playing on the second line with Baines and Garland, as well as power play 2. He's a sneaky ad as well, and I'm surprised he's still only 2% owned considering he did score 2 goals in his debut. He's always been a very talented player. He's just always been very injury prone, so he's never really been able to showcase it over a full season. Hopefully this is the year where he can really show how good he is. Then David Tomasek of the Edmonton Oilers. He's playing on the third line with Howard and Henrique, which isn't overly exciting, but he's getting top power play time with guys like McDavid and Draisaitl. And being on the top power play in Edmonton is exactly where you want to be. He should be able to put up some power play points there. And if you're in a super deep league, why not stream this guy? And finally, 0% owned, Emmett Finney of the Detroit Red Wings. Now, he's someone who we haven't really seen a whole lot of. He was a 7th round pick in a draft, and the reason he's here is because Detroit has those off nights this week. So if you want someone to stream in a deep league, he is playing on the top line with Dylan Larkin and Lucas Raymond. So there's a chance that he can put up some points this week. And if you're in a deep league, why not stream him? Jumping into defensemen now, Sam Rinzel of the Chicago Blackhawks is 39% rostered, but is their top power play defenseman. And like I said, Chicago has those off nights this week, so even if he's like your 5th defenseman, well, he's going to be playing on the off night, so you can fit him this week. Nikita Zadorov has always been a pretty solid peripheral guy, and this week he gets 4 games for Boston. I don't mind that stream. Keandre Miller is not somebody that I'm overly high on, but I feel like he's somebody that I had to include on this list given how many people are adding him right now in fantasy. He scored 2 goals, including a power play goal, added 4 shots on net, 2 hits, and a block. Really not a bad opening game for him. Now, the thing is, there's no way he's ever going to take over power play 1 in Carolina. Shane Gostisbehere had a really good game as well on the top power play. And actually, Miller didn't get a lot of power play time. So you can't really expect power play goals from him very often. And honestly, you shouldn't be able to expect that many points from Keandre Miller being only on that second power play. That being said, there is a chance he could put up some decent peripherals this year. 4 shots, 2 hits, and a block ain't bad. And if he can do similar stuff every night, there could be a chance he could become one of those safer floor defensemen and maybe score a point every couple of games or so. Definitely don't drop any studs for him though. Now, Alexander Romanov was somebody who I was insanely high on in the preseason this year, and you should be seeing why already. In his first game, he got 5 hits and 2 blocks. It's just such a safe floor that he's going to provide you every single night. So if your league does value hits and blocks, he's going to be putting up those. And even though he may not have scored that many points, maybe 1 out of every 3 games or so, just that floor is going to be so valuable every single night. You don't have to think about him. You just know that you're going to get a certain amount of points every single night. And then Tony DeAngelo in game 1, Tony DeAngelo got 5 minutes and 15 seconds of power play time, whereas Matthew Schaefer got a measly 30 seconds. Yeah, we're not worried about that anymore. He's firmly entrenched as their power play 1 guy, and that is a role that he thrives in, and obviously that makes sense, right? He's always been that kind of defenseman. He's really only good on the power play, and that's where they got him, and it's a good thing that they have him there, and it's a good thing that the Islanders coaching staff realized that that's where he belongs. Jeremy Lauzon of the Vegas Golden Knights spent the entire season injured last year pretty much, but he's actually hitting like he did a couple of years ago. You'll love to see it. He's already got 9 hits through 2 games. Caden Gooley of the Montreal Canadiens is a second pairing defenseman with Lane Hudson and puts up great peripherals. He's somebody that I really like as well this year. John Klingberg, someone who I had on the list last week, but I wanted to bring up again because he did score an assist in his debut and is playing on their top power play, so he's not too bad. Now, I don't have him here, but last week I had included Olen Zellweger. And I did say that he's probably going to get about half the power play time because Anaheim's probably going to be splitting the power plays. And while Lacomb's power play did get more power play time, 1:16, Zellweger did get 44 seconds, so it wasn't absolutely horrible. So there's a chance that he could still be viable. Spurgeon, though, is somebody who could be viable for a very short period of time. Now, Zeev Buem got 2 minutes and 15 seconds of power play time. And then Jared Spurgeon got almost 2 minutes, 1 minute 53. So it seems like they're kind of easing Zeev Buem into the power play spot a little bit. So Jared Spurgeon could have some value as long as he's getting a little bit of power play time. But I'm fully expecting Zeev Buem to get almost all the power play time and not too long from now. And finally, Artem Zub of the Ottawa Senators, only 2% rostered, and I've always loved Artem Zub. In his first game, he scored a goal and 2 assists, 3 shots on goal, 3 hits, and 20 minutes and 44 seconds of ice time. All that on the top pairing with Jake Sanderson. In super deep leagues, sign me up. Obviously, that offensive kind of production is not going to be something that he's going to be able to maintain, but those peripherals might be. Jumping into goalies now, and last week I did have Milka, Skinner, and Anderson, and they're kind of pretty obvious at this point, guys. If they're somehow still owned in your league, I don't know what to tell you. They definitely should be owned. So first on the list is Jet Greaves, and I think that he does take over as a starter this year. He did start the opening night, which is a really good sign, meaning the coaching staff already trusts him, but Merzlikhin is starting tonight on Saturday when this video is going live. So right now it's still a split, but I'm expecting Greaves to take over sooner than later. He's a significantly better goalie. If Merzlikhin sucks tonight, Greaves could get the next few games. Then John Gibson and Cam Talbot. And what did I tell you guys? Gibson's not going to start every single game. He looked horrendous in his first start against Montreal. Montreal just lit him up. And look at that. Cam Talbot is getting the start tonight. So if Cam Talbot plays better than Gibson, we could be looking at a split net in Detroit, and Talbot could even get more starts if Gibson continues to suck. Spencer Knight is the starter in Chicago, should be getting the majority of the games over there, and didn't look too bad so far this year. Yaroslav Askarov of the San Jose Sharks is the starter over there, and he's somebody who's looking to prove himself this year. Artur Silovs is somebody who's splitting the net right now with Tristan Jarry, but did get a shutout against the Rangers in his opening game. He's looking awesome. He's somebody that I did suggest last week, actually. Even before we knew who was starting, I was saying that this might be a split crease, and if you're in a deep league, he could be a good ad. Tristan Jarry is the other half of that goaltending tandem, and he had a decent game as well. He won it. So, hey, right now it looks like they might be splitting 50-50, but Silovs, if he continues to play like he did against the Rangers, he could be in for getting more starts than Jarry eventually. Charlie Lindgren of the Washington Capitals could get 2 starts this week if they keep the 50-50 rotation from last year. He would get Tuesday against Tampa and then Sunday against Vancouver. The main problem with that, though, is the coach would not commit to the same goaltender rotation, so it's possible that he only gets 1 of those games or 0 of those games if Logan Thompson is really playing well. Then we have Sam Ersson and Darth Vladar of the Philadelphia Flyers. They're both about 6% rostered, and Vladar did start the opening match. In that opening match, he posted a .941 save percentage, so yeah, he looks pretty freaking good, and Philadelphia's had their goaltending woes. But Ersson will be starting the next game, I'm almost certain of it, and they're going to be battling for that top goaltending spot. Right now, it looks like Vladar has got the advantage, obviously, since he's already put up a great start, and Ersson hasn't even started yet. But they're probably both going to be splitting for at least the next little bit until one can really pull away. Alex Lyon of the Buffalo Sabres is the starting goalie in Buffalo until Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen comes back, and that may still be a couple of weeks. He didn't look too bad in his debut. And finally, Jonas Johansson of the Tampa Bay Lightning is only 1% rostered, but Tampa Bay does actually play 2 sets of back-to-backs this week, which means that Jonas Johansson could actually get 2 starts this week, making him a decent streamer for the week. And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll catch all of you in the next episode of Fantasy Tipped.